Cheers and welcome my friends, I'm Horath and we are playing Tyranny as a noble mage. Welcome back. In the last episode we ended Kairos' edict by taking Ascension Hall from the Vendrian Guard. And we were transported up here to this to the top of the spire inside Vendrian's well. We currently have no way of going down. And we have to try and find a way to do that. The Iron Marshal is up here with us. Other than that, yeah, the Scarlet Chorus and the Disfavored are fighting each other in a sort of civil war which has sparked rebellion across the tiers. That is a problem, and we have to go to tune on the Archon of Justice, our Liege Lord, and talk with him, tell him about the situation, and try if we can't remedy that. We do have a bunch of new abilities now. We do have the Spire upgrades where we can sort of go for merchants or trainers and stuff for money, I guess. This could also be a thing. I found the scroll over here, so I guess I found a scroll and then couldn't use it because maybe these weren't really upgraded or something. So we got this mysterious device, a product of a forgotten age. It is unclear what function it once had, or if it can be used again. Resting in any spire grants a bonus to all skills. And then we have the edicts that are currently going on. We already know that the Edict of Storm is down here in Stalwart. That one we brought ourselves, the Edict over the Vellum Citadel. The Edict of Stone over here was done by Kairos to bring down Kern, the Archon of Stone, down, because it seems that he was disloyal. There's no active edict over here, and there's no active edict over here, and then there's the Bastard City over there with Junon and that all. Right, so we can have a look at the edicts. We do have that. We gained the favor ability of the Disfavored, increasing the resolve of our allies by +1 for 3 seconds, and basically we're gaining it every 3 seconds, so yeah. Anything else here? Someone leveled up. We gained a new companion, Ebb, over here, and everyone has something to say to me. This might be a talky episode. Not sure if I should put that in a bonus episode though. It doesn't really work that way. Yeah, we have to sort of look at the strange device, at the Spire device. I think we're going to do that first, and then we'll see how it goes. On closer inspection, a series of symbols carved around the base of the structure come into view. One symbol pulses with a blue-white glow. The pattern resembles the glowing lines of light seen on the floor of Ascension Hall moments before you found yourself transported above the clouds. As you stare at the symbol, the chill of the wind abates and your chest swells with warmth. The air finally feels welcoming, your lungs sated at last. I'd be careful going any closer. This whole tower is humming with energies that we don't understand. Lantry holds his quill poised above a sheet of parchment with anticipation. Now, I didn't say back away. Let's find out what it does. Just be cautious. You staked your claim on the tower and everything in it. Whatever that sculpture is, it belongs to you. I feel dizzy. Do you feel dizzy? Barrack massages the brow of his helmet, causing a howl of grinding iron to echo across the expanse. What is this thing? The surface of the stone orb trembles at your words. For a brief moment the solid rock undulates, the same motion as a quiet pond rippled by rain. An echo bounces back from afar, your voice distorted and unfamiliar. Is this thing? Your voice. For a moment there it sounded like song. The sculpture is once again still. There's a rush warmth through your body. A jolt of enervation that steadies your balance. A barrage of tactile sensation floods your mind as you feel footsteps and wind, but not on your face or your limbs. A moment later, the flood of information begins to make sense. You are feeling the wind against the spire, even the weight of your own feet, as if the spire were a second spine. With this connection made, you feel your awareness pull from this place, not as a traveler, but as one glimpsing the world from impossibly far away. In this moment, there's nothing you cannot see, though you see it nearly all at once in a flood of sensation that is difficult to pass. You see a spire at the crossing of an ancient stone structure, 2 walls extending off into the distance. At the base of this eternal spire, settlers and merchants act in every way unconcerned, toiling under the observation of unforgiving taskmasters. As the shadow of the spire falls over them, the mood changes. The settlers pause in shared unease and look up at the sky, toward you. Some of the faces looking at you are familiar, and you recognize this place as Leithian's Crossing, where you served during the war. This is where the iron ore is being sort of pulled out of the earth and smithed. Near the settlement, built at the joining of the ancient walls, you see a breach in the massive masonry, a cleft into the forbidden, hidden realm within the old walls. Okay, drift closer to the spire or drift into the old wall's entrance. I'm gonna go for that one. The spire feels similar to the one you now occupy, though instead of radiating arcane life, it reeks of dust and crumbling stone, a branch withering once pulled from its tree. It reaches for you with a barely perceptible tug. Drift into the old wall's entrance. Shadows envelop you, muting all sound and vision with slight delay. There's a feeling of perversion, of wrongness. Whatever arcane power is allowing your senses to drift free of your body seems to falter in this place. Figures haunt the stone halls, drifting emanations of cloud, claw, and fang. They pay you no heed, but you fear them all the same. In the depths of this forbidden place, the deepest chamber is bathed in light. An arcane symbol illuminates the floor, though the details hurt your eyes when you focus. With a gentle tug, your focus pulls back to a new horizon, though it takes you a moment to recognize it as Vendrian's Well. You've returned to the awareness of your immediate surroundings. The effect leaves you unsteady on your feet. The link between you and the spire recedes. The arcane bond is still present, but the mystical energies for the moment are quiet. Your body flooded with excitement and fatigue, it's unclear whether the mystic connection is strengthening you or siphoning. The tower offers nothing by way of answer, and you know that asking would only yield more silence and mystery. The deluge of sensation is over, but the positions of the other spires still linger in your mind. From your vantage point atop the mountain spire, you can easily spot the mysterious structures, each of them rising high above their distant surroundings. Okay, alright. So it didn't let me go down before I saw that, I guess. Did you sense that? Lantry signs a long sigil in the air, squinting at you as he works his cantrip. The ripples are everywhere. When you move, the magic of this place stirs and churns. That portal over there, those burning braziers, they all grow more intense as you approach. I think it's responding to your presence. Before we get ahead of ourselves, it's worth remembering that you ended Kairos' edict. That's no small feat. Maybe your connection to this place is related? Either way, sounds like something for the arcane-minded to investigate. Be sure to see me after your audience with Tunon. We cannot let the Scarlet Chorus gain hold in the tears. Together we will wipe them from the land. Come to me as soon as you can, Fatebinder. We have a lot of work to do. Right. Goodbye. Okay. So I gotta travel to Tunon's court in the Bastard City. And I also gotta go to the other spires, I guess. Stirring Visions. Find a way to Leithian's Crossing Spire. You gain access to Haven. The Regent's Spire is attached to the old walls at the Leithian's Crossing settlement. Travel there and find a way to gain access to the spire. Feel the connection between them and the spire you claimed at Vendrian's Well. Gather more information about these mysterious structures and seek them out whenever possible. Or wherever possible. Alright. Okay, I get it. Now all these people want to talk to me. And I also want to talk to Ab and sort of find out what's happening. I'm not going to put that into a bonus episode because I guess it's sort of pertinent for the plot. Now let's talk with Barrack first, maybe.
And so civil war divides the armies of mighty Kairos. The reckoning that comes of this failure will be great indeed.
Yeah, I guess so.
We find ourselves in the darkest times. Brothers and sisters who fought for a similar cause now skewer each other over blighted lands in the favor of distant powers.
What would you have done at Vendrian's Well?
Backing the disfavored was the only logical choice. Graven Ash is the only Archon worthy of your confidence, and you were wise to recognize as much. Naturally, I would have done the same.
Naturally.
Whatever others might say about what happened in Vendrian's Well, you acted from instinct. I can't help but respect that.
Let's see, you have some questions.
What can I do for you?
Yes. We could sort of push their relationship a little bit. Have either of you noticed that you fight particularly well together?
The thought has crossed my mind from time to time. During the many battles of the Conquest, we found ourselves standing back to back with enemies on all sides on more than one occasion.
The big guy here is as useless as an empty scabbard without his phalanx to keep him alive, but I move fast enough to compensate for it. And it's nice having a living wall of rusted iron I can use for cover.
How do you think this is
I
possible?
would suggest that our fighting styles complement each other, but they do not. I would suggest that we get along, but we do not. We don't even finish each other's
Sentences? Okay, that was strange. Did you hear that? The next time I catch a whiff of Barrick's meaning, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I want you two to train together. Yes.
Absolutely not. Our fighting styles are incompatible, and any disfavored lieutenant will tell you not to join at the hip soldiers who can't stomach each other.
I'm inclined to agree. If you want to pair up fighters, there has to be some great passion or magnetism between them. We don't have it.
Okay, I can go for the subterfuge option. If neither of you is up to the challenge, I won't force the matter. That sort of seems like the best way to go here. Sort of taunt them into it. Right, we're gonna go for that.
Now see here, Versus temperament and unpredictable ways are an annoyance, but no challenge is beyond my skill. Verse, we should take some time to face off in the sparring fields. It might even improve our disposition towards one another.
I'd rather watch you devour your armor one shaved off spoonful at a time. But since that isn't going to happen anytime soon, I suppose I'll make an effort.
Right. Okay. So we got that. They gained a new combo ability between those two. That's pretty cool. I thought I could only have combo abilities with me, but that is pretty cool, gotta say. What did they get? Over here. Arrow Storm. Verse and Barrick. Verse fires several arrows into Barrick's armor. When the last arrow strikes, Barrick roars and the arrows burst out, striking enemies nearby. That is one per rest again. By doing a bunch of damage, I guess. Yeah, why not? Why not? What else? Okay. Oh, come on, go away. Let's select them all. Let's talk with Verse next.
So, the Scarlet Chorus and Disfavored are at each other's throats. Can't say I didn't see that coming, but the Archons might have waited until one war was over before they started another.
You think I made the right decision?
Fighting with the Disfavored. Oh, not the call I would have made, but I'm sure you have your reasons. If you like iron weapons or something about that purple uniform excites you, then be my guest.
Yep, it was the uniform that excites me. No other reason.
Who can say? War is all about compromising your morals, deciding who lives and dies. What seems like a mistake turns into your greatest call down the road. Let me make one thing clear, just so that there aren't any misunderstandings. You support Graven Ash, and I couldn't care less. I'm here because you've done what none of the Archons could. Not even the voices of Horath would fault me that.
Interesting.
He's also a complete bastard, and I wouldn't want to miss an opportunity to stab him in the gut and take control of his army. So, there's that. I'll say this much. Our time together is anything but dull. My blades are yours for as long as you'll have me.
Noted. I have questions.
What do you need?
I would like to discuss your apparent connection with Beric.
You've just got to know, don't you? I suppose there's no point in hiding it. Beric and I are siblings. We share a father, if little else.
Shame. Shame. I thought you two could become lovers, but oh well.
I try not to think too much about some northern merchant dropping anchor in my mother's port, but it happened, and the fortunate result stands proudly before you.
Drop anchor in the port. How did you two become aware of this?
There were a lot of lazy days during the conquest, and among other things, I spent my off hours using messenger birds as target practice. You should have seen Ash's anger when he heard that was going on. One day, I snagged a bird that flew from the hands of a proud northern daddy. The missive was about the goings-on at the family farm. I recognized the name and handwriting from a note in my mother's belongings. There weren't too many people named Beric in the army, so tracking him down was no challenge. I cornered him in camp, and we shared a few heated words. Some blackmail, even.
How can you share some blackmail?
She tried to extort rings from me, and I was having none of it. Not even Graven Ash would think less of me for our father's indiscretion.
I like your confidence, but my ring belt is feeling a little light these days. Maybe you want to take me up on that offer, or I can start whispering in disfavored ears. Think about it.
Do you even like each other?
I've tried to get along with that ironclad knot of repression, but it would seem he's having none of it. Good riddance, then. The war's tossed us together, but nothing says we have to keep that going. The most we do for each other is try not to get the other one killed, which is more than you can say for most disfavored in Scarlet Corps.
How has this affected you, Beric?
Well, Verse has a nasty habit of jabbering in my ear and making this war intolerable. I plan on parting ways and returning to the north at first convenience. My father will answer for his infidelity. Beyond that, I am happy to consider myself in every way unaffected. My superiors once accused me of having an impulsive streak, but I have worked to suppress it at every turn.
When you go back home, send Father my fondest greetings and thanks. If he hadn't gone to ground on my mother's dry dock, I might not be here today.
My heritage was a point of pride and distinction before I met you, Verse. Not that you would care.
Right. Have you noticed any significant impact, Verse?
I've asked myself about that several times, but unfortunately I don't have what you'd call a definitive answer. The Northerners put a lot of meaning behind family and blood. Seems arbitrary to me, but I don't want to discredit it entirely. I told you about what happened to my Scarlet Fury sisters. The hesitation I experienced. Sometimes I wonder if that wasn't because of my connection to Beric. He's stubborn, regimented, everything I'm not. I suppose there's no telling for sure, but if I had to guess... yeah. Sometimes I get messed up in my head, and learning I had a brother has helped me understand that better.
She's really reflected for a person who had to chop off her family to join the Scarlet Corps and who's so into killing and blind rage. Let me ask about something else.
What do you need?
Have either of you noticed that you fight particularly well together?
Crossed my mind.
The big guy here is as useless as an empty scabbard without his phalanx to keep him alive, but I move fast enough to compensate for it. And it's nice having a living wall of rusted iron I can use for cover.
Okay, so we can now go for, do you think this because of your shared heritage?
If you want to attach some arcane meaning to the whole thing, be my guest. I couldn't tell you for sure. I doubt that a capable tactician could explain why certain soldiers learn to rely on each other.
In the disfavored ranks, the Oathbound seem to know more about synchronizing their efforts, and the same could be argued for the Scarlet Furies. I don't know how they pair up their units, but it isn't by virtue of blood.
Enough, let's be off. Alright, and Landry has something to say as well.
At least in theory, I'm supposed to be observing history and not getting myself wrapped into it. All the same, This is the thrill of a lifetime. Rarely does one stand so close to monumental moments in the making. If given the choice between a multifaceted hive mind of treachery and a surly old soldier, General Grumps is the wiser choice. It's patently obvious which Archon is truly loyal to Kairos. So, I must ask, are you planning on taking sides in the Civil War? Or do you have other plans?
All right. Interesting that it allows me to work on my own backstory in this conversation. I'm not gonna stand with Graven Ash and the Disfavored. I'm a servant of the Archon of Justice. That sounds a little bit too independent. I'm not sure if he isn't an informant. There's really no need to take him into confidence, so I'm gonna go for that one. Still gotta remember that Tune on the Archon of Justice has my parents, and can sort of hold their lives as a threat over my head. I'm a servant of the Archon of Justice. That much has not changed.
Dutifully spoken. It is Tunon's duty to arbitrate matters between the Archons, so this rift between Ash and Horath certainly falls under his jurisdiction. And here you are, thrust in the middle of the dispute. No doubt the mighty adjudicator will be relying heavily on you to get to the truth of the matter. Whatever you do next, consider that many eyes will be upon you, for you have both delivered and taken away the Overlord's edicts, and few will know how to make sense of the latter. You are an exception the Archons cannot afford to ignore. They will likely aim to control or destroy you.
Okay. Have you heard of edicts being broken before?
Most of Kairos' edicts were either worded to end in a manner of the Overlord's choosing, or the edicts have simply continued in perpetuity. That's not to say there haven't been stories of broken edicts. They're just uncommon.
But did I really break the edict, or did I just fulfill the edict? I just did what the edict wanted. It's not like it was broken against Kairos' will.
The oldest is, I think, Golbraith and the Edict of Sorrows, and that tale dates back to around the year 110. Aside from you, the most recent was the Edict of Twisting Grasses, back in 380.
He certainly knows his history.
In all these stories, Kairos' edict very clearly gives its victim a single way to escape, and someone manages it. What's never happened is the pure abatement of an edict, like using a spell of warding or cancellation.
Okay. Noted. Now let's get going. I wonder if he has something else to say.
At your service.
Landry bows deep, his eyes never quite meeting your gaze. Let us discuss current matters.
How can I help?
You're taking a lot of notes. What about?
All kinds of things. My mind is old, memory's a sieve. Keeping track of you, noting what I hear of the war, scribbling down reminders to myself, that sort of thing.
I actually do really appreciate that this is all voiced over. That sort of gives my own voice a little bit of a break. Are you spying on me?
Well, yes. If I'm worth my weight in tin as a craftsman of record, future generations will know of you. So yes, the Archon of Posterity sent me. You seem troubled by something that ought to be an honor.
Is it safe to be writing on your arms that much?
Oh, certainly not. But it depends on the ink I'm using. Too much cerulean and I can't sleep. But just the right amount, and I can write all night. The red ink will give you swamp bottom if you drink it, but absorbed through the skin, it'll make you taste colors and smell music. Speaking of which, I should change out my tip.
Right, so he's high on his own ink.
I use 3 kinds: sepia, cerulean, and a red that's never the same shade. My recipe needs work. I like having 3 colors, but they also provide different states of mind for writing.
Okay, your ink sounds like fun. Can I try them?
No. No. I'm trying to observe you. Corroding your mind is not part of the plan.
Okay, he doesn't trust me enough. What have we? 1 loyalty, 1 fear. I guess this might take loyalty 3, maybe. Let's speak of something else. Any other questions?
Nothing if not a semi-reliable font of knowledge. What did you want to discuss?
I think we talked about most of this. Well, let's talk about arcane matters.
And
let's see if we has anything to say.
oblige. Ever since the fall of the Vellum Citadel, it is hard to find someone with whom I can discuss such things.
Interesting. Holy cow, that's a long stuff. I'm not sure if I shouldn't push that into a bonus episode. On the other hand, it is sort of pertinent for this. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it in here for now, and I'll decide about that later. Do any of the others have
My Lord Binder,
that much to
you
talk
have
about?
something which requires my attention?
Barrick salutes as he turns to greet
What
you.
can I do for you?
No, he doesn't have anything to say. Verse?
At your service, Fatebinder.
Verse bows with an added
What do
flourish.
you need?
No, she has nothing to say either. So it's mainly Lantry that has stuff to say. I also wanna, I wanna go towards Tunan's court, but yeah, let's just have a look what we can manipulate in here. To the west, you see the shining spire of Lethian's crossing. To the east, you can see deep ashen clouds surrounding the burning library. This fire pit burns with embers that give off an ethereal glow. Looking into the flame, you feel you can see glimpses of distorted faces. Man, that sounds nasty. What's that? Sculpture doesn't respond to your touch. Come on. No, doesn't want to. I guess I gotta do what it wants before I can touch it again. I also gained something like the mirrored stompers. Yeah, over here. Heavy bronze armor, superior quality. Does spell reflection. Gives 1.5 armor, but increases my recovery time. Less deflection, less disengagement effect. Defense. Reflect 10% of incoming hostile spells back to their casters. Boots like these were first envisioned during the conquest of the Northern Empire, when the forces of Kairos fought to suppress and ultimately control unruly mage guilds. These are very expensive shoes. Problem is, I really don't want to bring up my recovery time any further. On the other hand, having the spell reflection would be very useful. This is by far the most expensive thing. Well, no, the Fire Ice Stone is more expensive, but let's go for it. It's gonna up my recovery time a little bit. We're only at 2 seconds. Because this thing doesn't have any recovery time. That one doesn't either. And that has 0.1 seconds. So we have 0.5 seconds from the armor, I think. Yep. Yeah, alright, we can keep that. Now let's save this. Let's go for a quick save and let's have a talk with Ab. I want to at least learn her magic. Ab clears her throat at your approach, eyeing you head to toe. With her arms folded, her right hand plays with the knots and ties of cord wrapped around her left forearm.
So if I might ask, what is your plan now? The edict no longer looms overhead, and Kairos' conquest of the Tears seems to be slipping. What with the armies in civil war?
I should speak with Tunon. Yeah.
I would counsel you to do just that. I'm sure the events of Vendrian's Well are best explained from your mouth to Tunon's ears. Furthermore, I'd guess the Archon of Justice would want to know your take on the Archons and their divide.
Plan is to destroy the Scarlet Chorus. I can destroy both. All of the Overlord's minions will fall. I will crush the remaining local opposition and complete the conquest. That's all I have for now. None of these are really my goals as of yet. They do have my parents. I'm not sure what I can do. Do I really stand a chance against someone as powerful as Kairos? I mean, this would just be foolish. And I'm improvising. Any suggestions?
My first suggestion would be to build a boat. Something durable, and take our chances on the high seas far from Kairos. I have a second and more practical suggestion. Look to the horizon and slightly up. By that I mean the other spires. We should see what's atop the others. Otherwise someone else might look first.
Okay. What do you know about the spires?
Not nearly enough, apparently. To me, they've always been axioms of navigation. You can triangulate a lot of things with the sextant and a clear view to a spire or two. We've long known the spires radiate strong magical fields, and all save the mountain spire connect to the old walls. So it's the sort of thing common folk know from afar, but avoid day to day.
Right, that sounds kind of logical. Let's go again for that.
My first suggestion would be to build a boat. I have a second and more practical suggestion.
I want to see what their second option
Look to
is.
the horizon and slightly up. By that I mean the other spires.
Yes. I don't
We should
suppose
see
you've
what's
heard of
atop
others
the
awakening the
others.
spires like I
Though
did.
Queens and kings of past ages have claimed the spires in the sense of, hey look, I put up a scaffold and hung a banner 1/10 of the height of a spire. But that's nowhere near the same thing as what we all just saw.
Okay.
So I say, let's see if the other spires react to you the same way this one does. If we don't, I'll take that as your way of saying you suffer from debilitating acrophobia.
Debilitating acrophobia. What do we fear? Acro. Gotta look that one up. Even though I learned ancient Greek, I cannot make this one out. Debilitating acrophobia. Well, maybe it's agoraphobia. Fear of places. No, fear of open places would be the other thing. Maybe it's just fear of small rooms, tight rooms. That could be it. That doesn't have a Greek name in German. Right, well, that's all I have for now. I'm not going to go for the other options.
Well, short of Tunon giving you orders on pain of death, you have the luxury of acting on your own volition. Though the Scarlet Chorus are likely to come for you.
What?
Whatever you decide, I'm at your disposal.
Assistance will be most helpful, thanks.
And I am thankful to not be a bloody pile of offal in Vendrian's well. Life under your banner will, I'm sure, prove most interesting.
Right, have a moment. Let's speak further.
What is it you need?
I have some questions for you.
Ask away.
Let's speak of magic.
You know, I normally charge for this, but for you...
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you if you don't do it. App smiles, waiting for your query. What can you tell me about your magical tradition?
Now, you know that's a very personal question. The knowledge I have is a centuries-old gift from the Archon of Tides. I would sooner discard my life than the sanctity of that gift. I will speak in generalities only.
That was not the deal. Ask. Worst I can do is not tell you. Holy crap, that's a lot of talking stuff. I'm gonna do that in a bonus episode. Let's return to our travels. I really don't want to bog down this this episode. I gotta talk with her. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk with Lantry. Got some questions for
I am
you.
nothing if not and I'd be happy to oblige.
Maybe he
Ever
has something
since
to
the
say
fall of
about.
Vellum Citadel, it is hard to find someone with whom I can discuss such things.
Gonna ask him about Kairos' edicts. Kairos has cast many over the ages, and to my knowledge has never worded two edicts exactly the same. Edicts defy our understanding of magic. Kairos' magic works over vast distances, over indefinite durations, and no Archon or mere mage can counter the force of an edict. What can you tell of edicts in general? Well, that's also a lot of stuff. You know, I'm gonna put that in another bonus episode.
On it.
It's just too much. So, what shall we do? I would like to sort of gain the power from her, though. I'm not sure, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this episode, have my talk with her and with Lantry, and then we're gonna go and move to the Court of Tunon, the Adjudicator, in the next episode. For now, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments so I can improve. And if you want to see more of this series in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hope you join me next time. Thanks, and bye bye.